Hey everyone, and welcome to the Fire and Dice YouTube channel where we talk everything Dungeons and Dragons. So if you love D&D, go ahead and subscribe down below, and you can also find us on Instagram as well. So this video is going to be the first in a series that we call our Fireside Chats, where a few members from the Fire and Dice crew go ahead and answer questions and speak about topics that you, the watchers, actually send in to us either through YouTube or Instagram. So without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce the members of the crew that are here tonight. Starting with the gentleman to my far right.
Hello, my name is Nick. I play Jarl Pinesore in the Fire and Dice campaign. He is a druid halfling, and I guess his main goal is to basically find out what happened to his village after its mysterious destruction.
My name's Dave. I play Red Foreman, Goliath Barbarian, and a little mix Warlock in there. His whole family was destroyed by a red dragon, and he's bent on vengeance.
Very nice, very nice. And then we have...
Hi, my name is Tony. I play Timmins Lightfoot, one of the newest members of the Fire and Dice crew. He is a half-elf bard, pretty much abandoned by both of his parents, and he's just kind of cruising the world on his own in search of new songs and stories.
All right, very good. So welcome everybody, and thanks for helping out with the video tonight. So my name's Keith. I am the Dungeon Master for Fire and Dice, and I also play Chadley Lamont Buttercup, a half-elf bard as well. When I do get a chance to play, that's the character I'll be using. So let's go ahead and get to the questions, and we'll just start right off. So the first one is actually an interesting question where they ask, what is our opinion of the three most important classes when starting a party? So we're going to do a little bit of a twist and just ask, if you could only make a three-member party, what classes would you include in that? So let's go ahead and start off. David, if you want to field this first.
Sure, why not? My three preferential classes would be a Warlock, a Cleric, and a Fighter.
Right.
Cleric and Fighter, melee, opposing, you get the possible advantage on roll,
Right.
as being opposite on as a single mob. Warlock, they have the perfect range. They can stay, well away out of harm's way. Tons of damage.
Right. Yeah, because you have the fighter and the cleric that can both do the close combat, but you have the cleric that can actually heal as well.
And
of
take
course
a lot
you've
of
got
hits too, because they have a high AC.
True. So, and then you've got your warlock, of course, to stay in the background. All right, sounds good. Which one of y'all want to go next?
I'll
Tony?
go next.
All right.
Three classes. Barbarian. Where was I going with this?
I'm not sure. Barbarian, you got your meat shield right there.
Yeah, we have the barbarian.
You got the big guy.
Barbarian. We have a ranger, and a cleric or bard. Yes, I'm going alternatively here. So barbarian equals meat shield tank.
That's good.
Rage.
Good.
Rage gives you half damage. In melee, once you get to frenzied rage level, you get 3 attacks, which is very effective given the right weapons. Rangers have Hunter's Mark at slightly higher levels, which gives you added damage on ranged attacks. Rangers can also use melee weapons as well. Depending on how you groom your ranger, you can be effective in melee as well as ranged attacks.
Yeah, I think they can also get 2-weapon fighting as well.
Yes, they can.
Yeah, so.
The cleric, as a healer, clerics are also somewhat effective in melee. Once you get in the higher levels, you also have the ability to create certain holy weapons, which can be useful. And as an alternative to the cleric would be a bard, which would be also a healer slash magic user. Slightly less or fewer spells, but they can be effective with the right creativity.
Right, absolutely. Not bad, not bad. And Nick?
Alright, so I would pick a ranger, cleric, and probably either barbarian. For reasons, the ranger, you get the ranged, and at the higher levels, because I've witnessed it, it's quite devastating. The barbarian. Did I say barbarian?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, okay, I did. So many things. Also, I've seen it. I've seen that just absolutely wreck the house again. And then cleric, just to heal. And I haven't seen them too much in action, but probably good.
All right, so very good. I think we had a lot of similar answers in there. If I threw mine in there real quick, I would probably just go with some of the classes: a fighter, a wizard, and of course one of my favorite classes, the bard. They could go very well together. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next question. Someone, a newer player, sent in and asked, when you're starting a character, what are some of the ideas behind choosing your race class combo? All right, so who wants to go ahead and field that question first?
Again.
All right, Nick.
So when you're first starting out, what I did, when I first started out, what I did was, I kind of had a concept in my head. I mean, and don't worry about like, if the combination makes sense. If it's your first time or first couple times, honestly, it doesn't matter that much. Play what you think will be fun, and once you get a little more experience, if you want like a specific route you want to take and how you want to build a character, then do it. But like I said, just start out and think wherever you think would sound fun, just do it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the more important things, is especially like you said, is when you're starting off, is just going out there and picking something that you're going to have fun with, and then you can get into the details of trying to make a really good character, a really good combination. But either one works. Whatever it's what you're looking for, the fun aspect or the just the more effective character. David?
When I was creating mine, I was going for a more...
Which one? Don't you have like 20?
Something like that.
When I was going for Red Foreman, I was going for a more effective character. Somebody who could deal a lot of damage, take a lot of hits, and then aid the party in other ways by... With the Goliath Barbarian, I can consider the size larger. I can carry a lot of weight. I had planned on being like a pack mule for the group. In that way, I even thought about going to a tinkerer or blacksmith to create like a gnome launcher I could strap on my back and throw Brandon into the fray.
That would be fun.
And this is coming from the guy who was already attempting to get a warlock to make a canoe fly for him.
Flying canoe.
Yeah.
We're halfway there.
Yeah. Are we? What are we missing?
You guys are missing Chimera Blood.
Chimera Blood.
Oh yeah. It's been a while.
That's what you were told.
But I would say if it's your first time, your first character, go with what you feel. It doesn't have to be perfect, because odds are you're gonna die. And then your second character, you can make the right one.
Hashtag reroll.
You want to look at the traits of each race, of each class, backgrounds.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good point that you brought up, is the racial abilities. That plays a big part when you're trying to create an effective character. Maybe not something that you're going to have fun with necessarily, but if you want to create something that's going to really be a top-notch character, is you want to get those races to align with what your most important ability as your class is. Example, if you're a spellcaster, you want to pick a race that's going to give you a bonus to whatever your spellcasting ability is. Same thing like if you're choosing a fighter or a barbarian or possibly even a paladin. If you're a meat shield, you might want to choose a race that's going to give you a bonus to your strength, constitution, something along those lines. And even a rogue, something that's going to give you a racial bonus towards your dexterity. And that way you can maximize your rolls and really make a very strong character in what they're supposed to be strong at.
You don't have to do that.
No, you don't have to, but if you're looking for that effectiveness.
But if you want to, I would say make a character that doesn't depend on your DM to roll in your favor all the time. Unless you're like really into RP, role playing, going for the story, and battles don't really matter that much. Or maybe you're more like a milestone based campaign. But I would say if you want to make it through with all your party members, you kind of want to go for that min-max calculation.
Right. And it also depends on the size of the party too. If you're playing in a very small party, you might want to have someone that's more well-rounded, a race class combo that's well-rounded. If you're a large party, like our group, there's 7 of you, so you can pretty much do whatever you want because you've got that supporting cast around you. Did you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on your comfort level. You're just getting started. Are you intimidated, or are you just gung-ho and going for it? If you're intimidated, go with something that's a little safe. You know, choose your run-of-the-mills, maybe a human or an elf or a half-elf. You know, each one gets benefits, dark visions being one. You get certain ability modifiers that will come with each one. It just really depends on your comfort level. If you're going gung-ho, you may as well just have something that you think you might have fun with. You know, I think we discussed it earlier. I mentioned like a gnome barbarian, which is way off kilter. You know, a 3 foot tall raging lunatic. It's, you know, whatever you're gonna have fun with, and that's probably gonna help you.
Like a Chucky doll.
Yeah, like a Chucky doll. Literally, like a Chucky doll. Scar it all. But have something, you know, something you're gonna enjoy having fun with, especially at the lower levels. I mean, just, you know, yes, you may die. It's going to happen at some point, and use
happened to him.
And use it. So, yeah, it happened to me. Like my first night out, and the other one.
No,
But
I think it might have been your second night.
something like that. It was fast and it was quick.
Still level 1.
Yep.
Thank
Tales
God.
of the Yawning Portal. The White Dragon Wormling used Frost Breath.
Thank God for the scroll and the diamond that happened to be there.
Yeah.
Neither here nor there.
David and I kind of put it together to get him back to life, just for fun.
Much appreciated. So you either go with like super comfortable if you're a little bit not certain, or if you're really just gung ho and really excited to get into it, go with something super fun. Really, there's no best answer. It really just depends on you as the player and what you're gonna feel, you know, happiest with. Really.
Yeah. And I think that, like everybody said, I mean, everyone's touched on that. It's really just what you're going to have the most fun with playing. Especially like David said, if you're really into the role playing, then it doesn't really matter. I mean, you pick a bard or a rogue or something like that you can really get into the character. You can do that with any class, but those are some of the easier ones to role play with, if that's what you're into. All right, so I guess we're good there. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. Where we are going to discuss. Well, actually, I'll leave it up to you guys. Do you want to discuss tips on how to get the players to role play, or how you get yourself to role play more, or would you rather talk about creating backstories for your PCs?
I'd say role playing.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, role playing.
I would say the biggest key to get into role playing is to have a DM that actually is into role playing. Once you get that started, then I think all the other players will get more comfortable and kind of find a place.
Are you trying to say I don't role play?
No, I wouldn't say that.
That hurts my feelings. I feel like I try and role play quite a bit.
You know, I think some of the characters have the same voices.
Well, every store owner.
I'm not.
It must
Matt
be
Mercer.
cousins or something.
I am. I'm going to take some voice acting lessons then, so I have a wider range for you.
Thank you. Yeah, everybody else actually has a lot to do with it as well. People can encourage each other a little bit more, maybe be a little more interactive, and and actually I think on our side as well, get into your, where are you from, what kind of voice do you want to do, and really embrace your backstory, which I haven't done enough of myself.
Yeah.
And that'll give you a little bit more of an easier time determining why you're always quiet, or why you're always super happy, or why you're always flirting with the nearest barmaid, whatever the case may be. Just embrace it a little bit more, and just encourage. Either whether young or old, just get into it and have fun together.
It doesn't even have to be the voice, it's just the attitude.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, just staying in character and talking to someone. Like I said, you don't have to have the voice, but at least as long as you're interacting and talking as your character and not as you at the table. I think that's a big thing, is at least staying in character is very important, and just talking as if you were your character as opposed to you.
Like, so I have a character named Richard.
Oh yes, Richard Weed.
He was a Tabaxi ranger who was very quiet,
Very standoffish. I remember that.
standoffish,
Yeah.
and it just irritated.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. It irritated my brother was playing that night. He was.
Yeah. It irritated him and Chris,
Oh,
especially once they were drinking more and more.
But it made it more.
It was more realistic,
Yeah.
and actually, and as an afterthought, my brother did express. He was like, you know what, you know, he apologized to me on, you know, to you through me about that because he just didn't quite get into the whole embracing the role-playing part, and you did. And in hindsight, he was like, you know what? He really did play his character very well. And yeah, so it was effective.
It was fun just watching people
squirm.
What is up
It
with
was
this guy?
squirming.
You know?
Well, that's definitely one way. That's
It was
definitely
great.
one way you know you're role playing well is if you get people at the table to dislike you. then you're probably doing a pretty good job as your character if that's your objective.
It worked. It worked.
Nick, how about you?
Yeah, I got a couple ideas. So, watch Critical Role. They are masters of role playing. That's what I go to, you know, for inspiration in role playing. I myself, I want to do more role playing. I've been telling myself for months that I've been wanting to do more role playing, and I haven't gotten to it. And so I keep forgetting. Sometimes I'll be in my room, either just got done watching Critical Role or whatever, thinking, what kind of voice do I want to do for Jaro? And I'll have it down, have it, in my head. And it's time for the session. I completely forget, and I'm sitting there kind of quiet, coming in every now and then. Another thing is just be comfortable with it. At first, when we started playing here, I knew almost no one. I knew Keith because he was Brandon's dad, and I'd known Brandon forever, and we just spent the last couple months living in a dorm together. So everyone else I didn't know. So and I'm a shy person, so if I don't know anyone, I'm gonna kind of close myself in and just observe and see test the water every now and then. But as the time's gone by, slowly opened up more, and I'm cool with everyone, I think. So yeah, that's another part of it. Just try it. And I will do. I will follow my advice as well and try it.
Yeah, and I think everyone has their own comfort level, like you said, and you just ease into it as you feel more comfortable. It does help when you're playing with a lot of people that you know. If you're playing with relatives, like I've got a good mix where my son's involved and basically a bunch of my friends, so it makes it easy to just relax and have fun at the table.
Yeah.
And from the DM's point of view, I clearly, apparently, don't do very good voices or a very good range of voices. So I'll remember that next session. I'll do a lot more voices, but I do try and role play. I do try and role play every character as best I can, and try and talk to people directly, and just have different attitudes based on what are the NPCs that I wrote up, and I think that helps, is trying to stay in the character of each different NPC, and it gets difficult the more you have, but the more you play them, the more you remember what they're like and the relationships they have with the players, and that helps because then the players start becoming themselves at the table too, because they're like, oh, I know this guy, this is the tavern owner, or this is the crazy barbarian that drinks, or the satyr that makes fun of everybody. They get used to those characters, and then it's easier for them to role play a little bit too. But that's a big tip for DMs out there, is just if you trying to get someone to gradually start role playing, is have the NPCs talk directly to them, ask them direct questions. If you have a couple people that maybe do most of the talking, just throw in a question towards them their way every once in a while, and that might help draw them out a little bit.
I think one more thing I like to add is if you have a stupid voice you want to do,
Try it.
Do it. Try it.
Embrace the crazy.
I remember it was senior year of high school, and we were doing Macbeth in my English class. And my teacher wanted me to do a Scottish accent, and I'm like, all right, let's do it. And yeah, I did it. I got extra credit as well. So, but I'm starting to think, maybe I want to turn my character and start doing that a little bit. But just do it.
Yeah, I say try it. And as a matter of fact, I think we should probably hear your Scottish accent now.
Oh,
Let's
yes.
not do that. Don't put me on the spot.
Let's do this.
Just introduce yourself as Jaro in a Scottish accent.
I need more time than that.
Oh, come on, man. It's
All
a
right.
great part.
I don't know if I can imagine a Scottish druid.
A Scottish
Well,
Go figure.
possibly.
Go figure. That's a stretch right there.
And that is one thing. This guy right here brought out his voice for Red for the first time, and it was probably one of the funniest things that have happened to the table, because I swear he sounded like Billy Bob Thornton from Sling Blade. It was incredible. It was a great moment. I loved it. He has now since dropped that voice,
Oh yeah.
and we're waiting for him to bring another one to
We
the
couldn't
table.
take,
It was nice
we couldn't
for
take
the-
anything seriously there.
It was good for the first 5 minutes, and after that, it just got irritating.
And most of the guys at our table don't. You guys role play and you'll talk as your characters, but I think really you and probably Shane, when he was playing Toghead, are the only two that have really brought true voices to the table for their characters.
Well, something to aspire to.
Yeah, I'd like to see everybody start.
Well, I was
trying
trying to play
voice
my
in their
character more, instead of the voice more, just aggressive,
Right.
gung ho, just caution to the wind, just charging in.
Which you've
picking
done that
fights
on
And that's true.
quite a few
And
occasions.
actually, in that sense, it's actually true that less voices and more attitude. Like, who is your character? Like the backstory. I mean, he's a Goliath barbarian, not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed, and he role plays as the barbarian, Goliath. So I think that would probably be more of a focus. Less voices and more attitude and background.
Yeah, the voices they'll enhance the fun of the game, I think, but like you said, the actual attitude and bringing to the table what your character truly is enhances the actual overall experience of the role playing.
Like Richard
Weed.
no voice, complete attitude.
I think one of our best episodes was when we were outnumbered, and everybody thought I was just gonna go right in and cause a total party kill.
Which one was that when you guys were in the mines?
This is a fire
surrounded.
Yeah,
In
and
the
I,
fire- okay,
I summoned
okay.
the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he is. That was
The
very
warlock.
interesting because I was wondering when this would break out in the session. I didn't think it'd break out this earlier, but he actually summoned his patron as his warlock, and that was kind of when everyone had an idea he was up to something that they didn't really know he was multi-classing, but they kind of had an idea because he had used a spell here or there. But he kind of just unveiled the whole thing and called on his patron to come, and a huge pit fiend just all of a sudden entered the fray. So that was a lot of fun.
That was a lifesaver. Huge
And
lifesaver.
actually, my brother, who plays Elwin, Elven Ranger, he was sitting there. He was very into it. He said he was shaking afterwards because he had his arrow cocked on his bow.
Oh, yeah.
They're surrounded by.
Man.
What were y'all surrounded by? Were they? It was
Everything.
Bugbears, right?
Bugbears. What was that? The
There had those hounds.
fire
that,
giant.
Yeah,
He had-
that was in the Fire Giant.
There was those hounds that like the last time we encountered them a couple minutes before, like almost like there's only like 3 of them and they like, crippled us.
It's like
basically.
almost a complete. It may have been like a complete reset.
I would-
It could have been very
I
interesting.
would call it, equate it to basically the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah.
That's how
It
close.
was, dude, that wasn't a Mexican standoff. That was like entering the rock without permission and just getting lit up over the wall. That's pretty much what would have happened. It was not have been
And
fun.
I guess another highlight of role playing from good old Red was that time he took on 12 guards.
That was before me. I wasn't around for that.
Keith rolled every single one.
Yeah, and every single guard just beat him.
Yep.
And he took the punishment. He raged, took the punishment, half damage on all their attacks, and he took a stiff beating. I doubt he learned his lesson at all.
No.
But he kept going. He didn't want anybody to heal. He refused all healing and just walked around the village the rest of the day, bloody mess. Yeah, that was fun too.
Well played.
No, that's a lot of the fun stuff that role playing can bring to you. All right, everybody, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram as well. We've got a lot more videos coming your way, more Fireside Chat videos. We've got the Friday Night Fight videos coming your way, and then videos on rules, races, classes, a whole bunch of information. So, again, thank you for watching, and keep on rolling with us.